In a mutual fund, the minimum investment, maybe $250, might only be $50 for your IRA. But as soon as you put money in, you're immediately diversified. So I own shares of a portfolio. That's why any income to us is called a dividend. So even for a bond fund, I'm getting income dividends. What does undivided interest mean? I'm not buying particular securities of the portfolio. I'm buying a percentage of all the securities. What's the downside? I got to pay expenses. And after 20, 30 years, that could easily be 1% a year. Receive professional management. Yeah, with a small investment, you can't just open up an account with an investment advisor. But mutual fund investors have always gotten access to an advisor, and it's for a pretty low percentage, maybe 0.35 or 0.45. It's because it's an economy of scale. As I was saying, a little percentage of a huge amount of money is still a lot of money to the advisor, transfer agent, etc. And if you ever see a test question where the agent says, therefore, because of the 10-year return, most likely next year, stop right there. Never make projections, no matter how reasonable the computer model might be. You show what happened in the past, and then you warn them that you should not assume that any of this will be repeated. And this usually doesn't include any expense or fees, so they say this does not, and if it did, your results would be lower. And if we've been around for, say, 20 years, we're going to go 1, 5, 10, and life of fund. If the fund has only been around 3 years, it'd be 1 year, then life. See where I'm going? 7 years, 1 year, 5 year, life. Those are the requirements. A lot of funds just show you the 3 year because they want to. That's fine. But, at least show them this. So an A share, you put in $10,000, 550 is going to go to the distributors and broker dealers. It's not going into the fund at all. However, it's a one-time charge. It may or may not happen. If it does, it depends on what you did, and it was a one-time thing. So on the way in, we charge you a front-end sales load. If we had B shares, we could charge one of these, and then when you sell, depending on when, we might take as much as 5% of your proceeds. So you sold 10 grand, we took 500 and gave you 9,500 out the door. Those are not as popular anymore. At the loaded funds, there's usually not a redemption fee. Those you find at the no-load funds where, if you sell during the first 18 months, when you sell, we're going to keep 1%. But that's one time based on what you did. And remember, this is a max sales charge. As kind of a general rule, if you're putting in $1 million, there's no sales charge at all. So, however you do it, this is not an ongoing thing. These are the ongoing things, the ongoing expenses. These are the only things that count towards the expense ratio. So the first one, the whole reason to have a fund, gather assets for the money manager, the RIA, so that they can charge 25 basis points of $1 bazillion. And then as we get better and better, we get more and more dollars to manage, and 0.25 just becomes a bigger and bigger number. Some of these mutual fund companies are extremely profitable because people look at these numbers like, okay, that looks about right. Like the way I look at a blueprint or instructions for a water heater and skim it over. But when it becomes money for some reason, I'm all over it. And this is why I don't do this. I'm not going to give up 0.75. I could easily avoid 0.75 and just manage my own account. But a lot of people don't want to. And again, in a lot of situations like a 401k maybe, that's not available. I have to buy a fund.